My last episode ended with me over at my iron mine, and I was informed by Nathan that he left something for me over here by my trader. And so I'm gonna... And he said to make sure I was recording when I got on, so... Gonna look around here... I don't... What's that? Wow, that's... Heard you need twine. I had tons. Nathan. Oh my gosh! I can make so many bombs with this! Yes! I am gonna blow up all the things. Thank you, Nathan. This is gonna make mining that iron out a blast. That's so cool. Thank you so much. I'm gonna... These ladders are nice and helpful too. I always need ladders. So, let's see. I can't carry this with anything in my hand. Oh. Ah. Sorry. Push all the buttons. There we go. Gotcha. Okay. It'll be faster on my back. And I can run. Because it's dark. And I'm scared. Oh, light. Okay. Alright, so let's get this all squared away inside so that I don't have to be out in the dark, in the cold snow. And let's put this here. Oh, that's just so fantastic. I mean, look at that. How many bombs is that gonna make? Like, a ridiculous amount of bombs. Can blow up all the things. I'm so excited. Oh. I have found a new passion, and my new passion is bombs and blowing things up, because it's just so satisfying. And sorry about that. I'm really cold right now. So if you heard my little shiver, that's what that was. But yeah, thank you so much, Nathan. This is going to be amazing. My plan this episode is to finish up chiseling this tower here so that I can get a windmill going and work the iron blooms that I'm going to be getting from my iron mine with all my wondrous ore blasting bombs. And so I'm going to need a windmill for all of that. And so I am going to be finishing up this tower here, and that will be mostly, I mean, there are some finishing touches to do on the front of the roof there, but then that will be this build done, at least on the exterior. I haven't really thought a whole lot about the interior, and it's not really a strong suit, so I mean, it's going to be something to push myself to try and learn and work out and figure out doing a quality interior build. But I accept the challenge, and I think it should be fun to learn something new. So I am going to spend time working on this tower and seeing what I can get done, and hopefully getting enough of it done that I can make my windmill. So I will be back when I've made some progress. The next part of working on this tower is working on this section right here, and there is going to be a cross pattern motif that's going across this whole section, and so it's going to have these little pieces here plus these 6 blocks across here and this little piece here, and I want it to be divided in 4 equidistant little sections, and that is not going to be easily replicatable on this if I decided to do it freehand. So what I like to do is I'll go in and use Microsoft Paint. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the Mac equivalent is. I don't have much experience with Macs. So anyway, I'll go in here and I'll get the magnifying tool and then magnify until it is as until it won't magnify anymore. Or you could go over here and slide this all the way up to 800%, and then hit Control G, and that'll bring up this grid here. And so then I can mock out what I want to do. So I've already kind of got it worked out a little bit here, but the basics of it is that this right here is 100, and you can see down here, this is what I'm looking at for my size. See how the pixels change as I move? So if I go across, if I drag it all the way across, it says that it's 100 by 1. So I know that this has a length of 100 pixels. And then this has a length of 16 pixels. So that is, each block is 16 pixels high. And then the 6 plus the 2 extras on the side is 100 pixels. So I'm going to go in, and I've already divided it up into its equal sections. Each of these sections, I believe, is 22 blocks wide. Yeah, it looks like. So 22 voxels, pixels, whatever, wide. And then I'm going to create my little motif inside them. So what I'm going to do is start in this corner here with my darker color so that it's visible. I'm going to drag it down, and I'm not going to drag it straight down to this corner right here because I do want these little cross beams to be 2 pixels wide. So I'm going to put it there. See how there's a gap down there at the bottom? And then I'm going to go in the pixel right below this top one here and drag it down to the corner so that now my little cross beam here is 2 pixels wide instead of being, if I went corner to corner and then tried to add more here and here, it wouldn't give me the look that I'm going for. So corner to one above, and then one below, one below here to the corner here. And so now I have a pattern, something to follow in the game, so I know exactly which voxels to place and to remove to get this pattern across the board. And I cannot emphasize enough, if you are going to do something like this that's going to be intensive and go across multiple blocks and stuff, work on your pattern, measure it out, check, double, triple, quadruple check, and make sure you're 100% sure that you have gotten it correct. Because nothing is more frustrating than getting to the last few pixels, few voxels, and realize you're 2 voxels off, you know, with your design and your pattern. So now that I have this pattern, I'm going to be able to go back into game and implement it. What I'm going to be working on here is going to be subtractive instead of additive here on these little voxels here. And I'm going to switch it to my 1 pixel because I have a lot of cutting out here that's not going to be perfectly within the little 2x2. And if I don't have it set up perfectly, that 2x2 is not going to be the tool that I'm going to be able to use. So another really important tip for doing this kind of work, if you want your camera to stay still, so I'll press Alt, and that, see, my mouse is moving around, but my camera viewpoint is staying still. And that's really, it's super helpful when you're doing stuff like this, because otherwise when you're moving around, you're changing your view, and it just gets really difficult to do things sometimes. So I am going to go in here and follow my pattern, and I'm not going to do it on camera because counting on camera and really focusing on camera while trying to narrate at the same time is how mistakes get made. So I am going to chisel this out, and I will be back. Okay, so what I went on ahead and did is I did all of the top parts of this motif across the entire board here, just to make sure that I had all of my spacing correctly and that my design would indeed fit on this section of wall here. So I'm going to go on ahead and do the rest of this here, and I'll be back. Okay, there it is, all the basic like sketched in design. Now I just need to go in with my 2x2 and clean out the blocks that I can. Oh, not space, alt, sorry. All the blocks that I can, but like see right in here how with a 2x2 that would clear out all of this, but this piece right here is my design and this piece is right here is what I need to clear out. So I'm gonna have to go in with the one voxel chisel and chisel those out individually. So I will be back. And there we have it. You really don't want to know how many times this took me and how many times I had to completely redo the entire thing. Because it was too many times. And I had to throw away a lot of blocks and it was a lot of waste and I'm already on my second iron chisel because of it. So, now that this side is done, I'm going to take these pieces one at a time so that I can carefully, not drop them please, so that I can carefully take these and I'm going to go over here to my workbench and place in my block and my chisel and 1, 2, 3 more blocks because I have 3 sides that this exact same piece needs to go onto. Well, I say exact same, I am going to have to rotate it. So, I mean, it's not the 100% exact same, but I do need 3 copies of it. So let's exit out of here so I can right click on this. Oh, it needs slabs. Of course it does. Because I use slabs to do these. There we go. Now I can do it. So copy those 3 blocks and then I can place them all on the different sides. So I have 3 copies plus the original equals the 4 blocks, and we're gonna put that over there because we're gonna need the chisel more than the axe at the moment. Okay, so block number 1, and then I'm gonna need some food and some scaffolding. Love my bony soil scaffolding. I know you can make real scaffolding, but I don't have the resources for that right now. So, all right. So here's the first section, first little wall bit. So obviously it's got some issues. Let's go in and try rotating it first. 3 hits with our rotation tool and it is in place. I think that's probably going to be the case with most of these. Let's stand on our ladder over here. Put this in here. Rotate twice. That was nice and simple. And then put, oh, fell. This one in here. Fall again. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. I am in the way now. Okay. Put that one there. And then use the chisel for just 1 rotate, and that's in place. Okay. So I am going to go on ahead and do the same with all of the other pieces. And there we have it. That motif design is now along all 4 of the sides here. So that is, you know, it looks very simple, and it looks like it really shouldn't have taken me hours. Oh, but it did. I'm glad it's done. And now to move on to other taller parts of this tower. I am just about finished with the tower now. I have just the roof left, but I wanted to bring you back in to show you this view. Isn't it breathtaking? I mean, there's the chalk mountains over this way and our frozen lake over here. Like, look at that. It's almost completely frozen, I think, except for a couple places where the reeds are and then like randomly 1 or 2 spots. It's frozen solid. I need to collect some ice, some chiseled ice from that so I can start using that in my builds as well. But it's just so pretty up here. I mean, and this lake isn't completely frozen. I wonder if it's a little warmer down there in that direction. But yeah, I just had to show you how beautiful this was. I still need to get the roof on this thing, and I've got some odds and ends on the house to fix and finish up. Like there's still no wall in there, and over here on the little patio thingy back here, I need to put a railing on and put walls up and stuff like that. But for the most part, this house is almost done. And oh, this in here was kind of fun because I wanted to be able to look out easily, but the decoration on the outside didn't really allow for it to only be 1 block height, and I didn't want this to be my view, because how sad would that have been if only this had been my view. So I made sure to put these extra little steppers in there so that I can see out and see the beauty of this area. I won't be able to stand up here once the roof is on. Maybe if I crouch, maybe I'll fit in this area, but yeah, I won't be able to fit otherwise. This is looking really neat, I think. I can't wait for the roof to be on and it to be all done. I think it's going to be really neat. So I will bring you back in when I've got that roof on. Quite a bit of time has passed since my last clip. As you can see around the back of the tower there, I do already have the windmill in place, but what do you think, guys? This is my house. Almost done. I still, like I said, need to put little pieces in here, and I've got a couple walls around back. But as far as exterior, that's this place finished. And let's come around back so you can see the windmill properly. This tower was never intended to have a windmill in it, and I definitely won't be keeping a Helve hammer in there permanently. But I kind of like the idea of having a quern in there just so that I have somewhere to grind up all my wheat. Yeah, see, I gotta go in and do this stuff and fill these gaps in. So there's still a bit more to do on the house, so it's not 100% done yet. I put some bloomeries, and I just ran out of coal, so I have no more coal for making my blooms. See, I've got 5, but I do have a dozen blooms that I need processed, but I don't have the coal for it. So it's all like stopped on the coal for the moment. So this area up here is definitely cramped. Like I said, this was never intended up here to be a place for a Helve hammer, and it's not going to be long term. This will be turned into a quern, and I will be using a quern instead, and moving this over, probably 1 over, so that when it's all said and done, this is coming out of the center. Oh, actually there is no center. This is an even build, so there is no center. It's always going to be lopsided no matter what I do, so scratch that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you how I did the windmill. I had no idea how to do a windmill starting out, and I watched a couple videos, Ashantin's especially, and I will link that video down in the description. But hers didn't show me how to set up a Helve hammer. It just showed a quern setup, and so I had to run over to Raylus's base and check out their Helve hammer setup, because I didn't know that you needed this little wooden toggle here, as well as the hammer base. So I'm going to go through and kind of tell you what kind of parts you need, just in case you've never built a windmill before. Like me, this was my first time. So you need a windmill rotor and at least 1 set of sails. And a full windmill has 5 sets, and each set gives you a 20% increase. So when you have the full set, you got your 100% increase. And right now there's obviously no wind, so it's not spinning. But I have the sails on the rotor, and then connected to an axle, and then these angled gears. And for angled gears to work, they have to be attached to an axle that's attached to a solid surface. So I'm going to have to try and figure something out about these 2 ugly dirt blocks, something to replace them permanently once this is converted into a flour mill or a grinder with the quern. So I've got my angled gears coming here so I can go down, another axle, angled gear with some more axles coming into this toggle. And the Helve hammer is comprised of this, the hammer, which has the smithed top, and then like 8 pieces of wood, I think, to make it, and then the Helve hammer base. So when the windmill turns, which I'm kind of sad that it's not doing right now because it's a fun sight to behold, when the windmill turns, it turns these gears, which turns these gears, which turns this toggle, and the toggle has this little, I don't know, notch in it that when it spins around, it catches on this piece of the Helve hammer, and the Helve hammer goes up and down, and it makes a pretty loud, annoying sound for if you left the anvil underneath. It would get pretty annoying pretty quick, so I don't recommend leaving your anvil underneath your Helve hammer. I did move it over here because I was smithing some items, but even so, I wouldn't have left it right under my Helve hammer anyway. So, and in close proximity, I have my forge, and these are the ingots that I have made from the blooms, or rather the Helve hammer has made from the blooms, because we're all awesome and automated now. So I have got a lot to do as far as making up some charcoal and just kind of planning out where I want everything to go, because I definitely would like a workshop sooner than later. Yeah, you see my little block of trees down here. Those are maple trees, and they're gonna hopefully grow soon so that I can have a charcoal pit going, because I definitely need more. I can't make it very far with only five pieces of charcoal. But yeah, I'm really happy to have some automation going, and these, I've got to get some more iron into here, but like I said, I'm still waiting on the charcoal for that. And once I get everything structurally completed, I can start working in here on like the aesthetics of, I don't know, interior design, whereas most of my focus has been on this exterior bit here. And one thing, so I think the tower might be a little too big for this build, just like too chunky, but it's definitely too late now to change it. So I think it'll grow on me. I definitely love how all of this turned out. I think it looks really neat, and it's definitely not a build that I would have been able to have done in Minecraft. And so I'm enjoying using the chisel and learning and getting builds that look like this, and hopefully I will be able to create more buildings in my little area here. I need to kind of plan out. I need to take a screenshot of my map and kind of make a village map of what I want here, because I know I want more stables. Oh, and speaking of my animals here, I've got a Generation 5 ewe here over here who is pregnant, so I will be getting a Generation 6 soon, so that is fantastic. And I recently went through and kind of culled the herd a little bit. I did keep 2 rams, Generation 5 and Generation 4, though it doesn't entirely matter, except that once these guys reach Generation 10, they're not going to headbutt me when I get near them. Excuse me, ma'am, can I squeeze past you here? Thank you. And a couple of mine have gotten out for whatever reasons. Like, well, one of them got out because I left the gate open, so that's 100% my fault. But having this here, I know it's ugly, and I will hopefully find out a better situation for it because I come up here to kill them, so they don't kill me, because up on top of the fence they can't get me. So, but anyway, with this here, the sheep that have gotten out, I just go over and put some food in their little troughs over there, and they come trotting back in, so that's convenient. So I am going to spend some time and get some charcoal going so that I can work on the iron blooms, and while I do that, I'll probably, like while I'm waiting for the trees to grow, I'll probably get in and start working on these bits that are missing in my house, and I'll be back. I had some wood already in my stores, so I made this little charcoal pit. It's not massive, certainly not these gigantic, enormous ones that like Nathan's doing, because I don't have the resources for that right now. But it's a 4x4x2 and then some. So, I mean, it'll give me what I need for the moment. And I actually didn't even wait for these to grow because I had a bunch of kapok. Fun fact, kapok, when turned into firewood, only gives you 3 logs instead of 4, like others do. So that's a little weird and a little bit of a ripoff, but I guess that's just how it is. So I have like 6 kapok left. But it's okay. I will have a ton of wood in a little bit and like what, 18 in-game hours, so that'll go by quickly. And this is all smoking gently and producing charcoal that I will need for working those iron blooms. And it looks like our charcoal pit here has finished up. So I am going to dig all this out and enjoy the spoils of charcoal. Well, my little charcoal pit has yielded me just over 3.5 stacks of charcoal. So that is definitely enough to get a good start on what I have going. I'm going to go on ahead and come up here and put some charcoal here. Oop, I have to get off of the ladder. Some charcoal here in this one and this one. Oh, do I not have any blooms in any? Oh, I don't have any metal in there. Just a sec. Let's go grab some. If I always struggle with these, the whole trying to get back down for whatever reason. I just struggle bus here. So I already separated them out into their 120 amounts so that they would be easy to input into the bloomeries. So come on back up here and shift click them in, and they only go 5 at a time, but that's better than 1 at a time at least. So I'm gonna go on ahead and get all of those in there, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, right, because they go in 5 at a time. So okay, and then put all of them in to this one. There we go. And 6 of those, and a torch here. Light them up. Now I've got 2 bloomeries cooking away because this one I had done earlier, and with breaking that is all of my fire bricks, so I do need to go and spend some time getting things worked out. Oh, hey, look, this is going now. Yeah, see? You can see how the toggle has the little nubs, and it just pushes it along. I love the animation that they've done on this. It's just brilliant. The toggle spins and it pushes this up. I love the animation on it. It's just so neat. So now I have these 18 iron blooms and a ton of charcoal. I am going to keep probably just a little bit downstairs because I do have my smithing station down there, and I don't want to have to run up here every time I want to get some coal to smith like copper or tin or something. So I'm going to keep these in here. But yeah, I've still got tons of stuff from that iron mine, and this isn't even all of it. I think for the last little bit of this episode here, I am gonna go take some bombs and blow things up because it's my happy place. Well, I certainly enjoyed making this episode, and if you guys enjoyed watching it, make sure to leave a like. Oop, I was a little too close there. Make sure to leave a like on the video, and if you're really enjoying what I'm doing, be sure to subscribe so that you can see more of my builds and more of the shenanigans that are going to be happening here. And if you really loved it, make sure and tell all your friends and get them started on Vintage Story because it's truly an enjoyable, unique game. I know it is very similar to another beloved game, but I personally, I really enjoy this game. I keep getting too close to the blast radius. But yeah, just go on ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you can see more.